We set the trend in the script.
Absolutely. You are, you have been, you will be under the roof.
Snip this glue, get in the zone, because we got to go do something. So that's what we did. And I'm going to be honest with you, I used to like it. You got people from the east and the west and different places, to come over and groove with us.
Was Hoover grooving some part of Hoover? Never met a Hoover group. Me and you was never in my life. But
a part of what was called the Bonzella Crips.
Hoovers ain't starting no Hoover Crips. And we hit that hand moving on you, walking in your house.
Wait, do that again.
Hit that hand moving on you, that messed up your whole party. You are, you have been, you will be under the group.
Back out, I'm older now, wiser now, I dress different, I'm fully embedded in the culture. And, as you know, at this point in time, we teenagers now.
Yeah.
We stepping our game up.
Yeah.
We stepping our game up. We full-fledged.
Yeah.
But this has already happened. This transition has already happened. When the OGs started letting us hang out, we knew we was like elevated.
Yeah.
We stepped our game up. It was like 4.0. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. We were full-fledged now. And we did what we did based on what we seen growing up. Our role models.
Yeah.
We had role models.
Yeah.
Our OGs was our role models.
Man.
And we grew up emulating them. But we try to take it a little bit further.
Yeah.
We really did.
I have hold that thought right quick. Let me jump in. I have a thought, a saying I use. The OGs set the stage, but we put down the production. You know what I mean?
Oh, no doubt.
No doubt.
No doubt, man. It's just like a director with a movie, bro.
You know
what I'm saying? You got your star characters, and you got your role players.
That's right.
And you got your extras.
That's
you know
right.
What I'm saying?
Real
Ain't
spit.
no movie won a Grammy. Ain't no movie won an Oscar.
Right.
You know what I mean? Without a full production.
That's right.
That came together. It's the same with that's the machine. That's the function of a machine.
Mm-hmm.
All the coils work together. You know what I mean? To get that machine running. If one little coil don't do its job, the machine don't function.
That's right. You get rid of the kinks. Keep that machine well oiled and running.
Yeah, real talk.
So you went
coming up through.
Go ahead.
Coming up through the system.
Mm-hmm.
As we got older, like I said, we all did what we did on the streets. Certain names run bells or whatever. But coming through the system and bonding with a lot of other people, and you know what I mean. Getting back on that level right there, because we done branched out now. We just not boxed into this little block radius right here.
Yeah.
Meeting people from everywhere. And we having bonds. We building relationships. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We building relationships. Because a lot of people trip like
You have 60 seconds remaining.
People think certain people are enemies, but they're not understanding the history.
Right.
That some of us might have with some of these people.
Right.
Our priorities are what they are.
Bro, let me stop you, but hold that thought. Come on, pull back up, man, because this is going to be deep. I want to hear this.
Killing.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, let me have it, man. You about to hit us with that power, man. Truth to power.
Okay. Well, let me get back. Let me back up a little bit. When I talked about, Hoover being a pillar in the Crip community, you know what I mean? You got some big sets, and those make up the pillars. You know what I mean?
That's right.
East side,
Yeah.
West side,
Yeah.
You got pillars. And then on these pillars hold up these roots.
That's
the
right.
roots are a lot of the other little smaller sets. But nonetheless, it takes strong sets to make up a pillar. If you remove a pillar from that structure, the roof is going to tilt.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Now, that's going forward. We're going to address that. But right now, I want to talk about that pillar.
Go ahead.
You know, up in the system, bro, you know, we are a standout community for years, and still are right now today. But there's there's a current state of affairs that we're going to address. But nothing in here happened that we weren't a major participant in inside these prisons.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. People
look to us for guidance. They look to us for leadership. You know what I'm saying? They look to us for a soldier count. And this is not taking nothing from nobody else. Everybody participated. Everybody have they won. Right. And they 2s and 3s and 4s. You know what I'm saying? This is not minimizing no other set. This is all props due. You know what I mean? Because up in here, you understand, for the years, we didn't have tribalism. We were one unit.
Yeah. Right.
We were all together. Actually, set tripping was like a major violation. You know what I mean? If you were somebody be on some, I'm just from over here, fuck everybody else, you would be on your way. Because there's power in unity. And that's true right now today with the state of affairs right there on Hoover. There is power in unity. There's strength in unity.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
But also, within that unity, it deals with a structure that's out this world. And it's something like I refer to right now as being in a fraternity in college.
Right.
You know how it is when you pledge to a fraternity and you got these frat brothers.
Yeah.
And frat brothers gonna take you a long way. Because you never know which frat brother is going to be successful, and he can help you out with some stuff.
That's right.
If you need that assistance, it's there. Now, the thing about this fraternity I'm talking about, they don't necessarily got to be from Hoover.
That's right.
They can be from Okie for Noki. They can be from Okie for Noki.
But that's your frat brother.
But even more shocking to some people out there that don't even understand it is they can be from cold Hoover haters. Well, where they from, but that is a personal, ideology. You could be a frat brother. Now your set might be on some other shit, but on some personal shit, you might know. I grew up with these dudes. Yeah. And I look at a lot of people like that right now today. They can be from over here. They can, when you think about where they from, they don't get along with the homies. But straight to me.
Yeah. And I'm not, we ain't got to name no names or nothing. We know.
For sure.
Yeah, we know.
For sure. Yeah. We know. Right now today, they probably showing up at both functions at Hoover. And there's a gang of homies out there that see him right now today and might think they from Hoover and don't even know.
Don't know. Or conversely. Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. But at the same time, we can go further and we can talk about, because this is something we gotta address. We have to address the current state of affairs.
All right.
Now, I might be putting the carriage in front of the horse with this, but we got to address that.
That's okay. We can always get back to where we need to be. You know what I'm saying? Don't trip.
Yeah, no doubt. Because, say like this, everybody knows when you see orange, that's Hoover. We endorse the orange. That's us. That's our identity. You understand me?
Oh, yeah.
Everybody, you got dudes got their powder blue. It ain't a problem. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's their identity. When we see that, we know what it is. You got your purple, you got whatever you rock it. That's your identity. You can't demonize my identity. Yeah, I'm a Crip. I've been a Crip since day one, and I have not changed that. I have not changed that. That's my position. But you know what? That orange right there, them is my homies.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Yeah.
And I have no problem with it. Why should another person? I rock the blue, but I'll rock some orange.
Yeah. Because
that's my personal identity. You can't demonize my personal identity. You can't demonize individuals' actions, but not their identity.
Well,
You understand what I'm talking about?
Yeah, that's some real shit. And since we're having that discussion, what's your take on that?
You know what? That right there is a generational thing.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those are offspring. They come from us. They come. Everybody knows.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hoover is Crip.
Yeah.
Hoover are Crips.
Yeah.
You know. Now, this is just my view on it. You know, somebody else's view could be different, but my internal view is this: outside forces created the criminal mentality. Outside forces influence the criminal mentality because, and I say everybody has to take ownership of that in part, and that includes us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, break that down so they understand exactly where you're coming from.
We watched it morph.
Yeah.
We watched it mutate. And although some of us from a distance, but I was out there enough to see.
Yep.
I started seeing little bits and pieces,
Yep.
and it was like the only person that was coming over there with some shenanigans were other Crips.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? For whatever reason. Maybe they trying to get their name on the map. You know, we went over there and we did this to Hoover. You know, yeah, they came back and they maxed us out. But now your name ringing bells.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Take that however you want. Because I didn't watch programs since I've been in prison. And the first thing out somebody's mouth is, in these documentations, is we don't get along with Hoover. And I'm like, who the hell are you?
Yeah.
Who are you?
Yeah.
You from where? What? Where's that at? You know, but that's the first thing out their mouth. But
So,
then at the same time, if you come up in these jailhouses, you know what I mean?
Right.
That's who you need assistance from.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're speaking to culpability for this shift, this thing, man, that we're experiencing in the culture, and it ain't just on Hoover's. It's just not Hoover's burden.
No. Just like I said, how can you sit here with this generation right here growing up, and all you see is drama coming from these guys over here? How you gonna continue to like identify with that? You want to separate yourself from that because them is considered enemy now.
Mm-hmm.
Even though you come from this same seed, in essence. But like I said, they moving away from it because they don't want to identify with it. Because they bring in the drama. You know what I mean? They bring in drama.
Gotcha.
So I'm going to bring drama back. The only thing I can tell you like this, what I don't disagree, well, I take that back. What I disagree with is this level of disrespect that flourished in this culture.
Yeah.
You know, we've always had our beefs growing up. We didn't whack out shit. We went over there and we did what we did. You know what I mean? We did what we did. We handled our candle. But we didn't whack out, you know.
Right.
No
the nation. Yeah. I got you.
We didn't whack out the nation, bro.
Right.
We didn't do that. Our actions spoke volumes for us. You know? I can't say what degree, you know, of hate is like, you know, been festered into these dudes' minds that got them on that level. I don't agree with it, straight up.
Gotcha.
I don't agree with it.
Gotcha.
And that's coming from me to say this. If I got a partner from Okefenokee,
Yeah.
right? This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
He can even be a frat brother of mine.
Yeah.
But if he got a problem with somebody over here in my internal circle, I have a problem with that. Because who is my priority? It's been a priority in my life. You know, don't get it wrong. I'm not going to ever side against a Hoover. But I will side against wrong.
All right.
You understand what I'm saying? I will side against wrong.
I can dig it.
I might not address that wrong right then and there because my priority is going to kick in.
Right.
My priority is going to kick in.
I got you.
In the 33rd, I find out you're wrong, we're going to holler about that.
Yeah. We're going to take that up.
But Yeah, exactly. But my priorities are intact. They are. So don't get me wrong. I ain't gonna never, ever, ever go against the grain. Now, at the same time, too, you gotta understand I'm evolving, I'm growing, and you know what I mean. I'm kicking 60 years old in the ass. I'm not finna keep doing this. Yeah. I'm not gonna be doing this like right now today. I'm already like going in a different direction.
Yeah.
Somebody's gonna have to step up, man, and be a thinker.
Right.
Dudes need to focus on thinking, being a leader.
A builder.
To be a leader, it might not always be a popular decision. You're gonna have to make choices that's not gonna be popular with everybody.
That's right.
But you gotta think about things that's bigger than yourself. You have to think about the whole.
Right. Right.
You have to think about your brothers. You got to think about your children. What type of community you want them to come up in where they got to walk down the street and rubberneck? You know what I mean? They got to watch their back. You want your kids to be better. You know?
I hear you.
Well, everybody got people in their family that's not members. They don't gang bang.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Talk about the community. Because we've been tearing down our community since we were teenagers.
Man.
We've been facing walls. We know what's in this area, but we feel the need to write up. Yeah, we here. You know what I mean? But we've been plaguing our communities with drama since we were teenagers. We talking decades.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
We talking going on 50 years, half a century.
You and I got over 44 decades in this shit, bro.
Man.
You know. You know, a lot of us, you know, and there ain't that many of us left from our, but yeah, we got decades in this shit.
Yeah, no doubt. But look what we've been doing.
Yeah.
We've been tearing the community down.
We ain't been building it up.
You know, I just recently took a victims impact course. Well, I took it before, but you know how that goes sometimes. You know, those tools you gain along the way get dull. You know what I mean? It's something you just got to go back in and resharpen them. But you know, victims impact is deep because not only is it say like you go and you hurt somebody from another community and that community suffered, they family, whatever. Yeah. You know what I mean? There's a progression of people that suffer, but you also hurt your family.
That's right.
Because now you're gone. You gone.
Yeah. We're talking about the impact that don't just affect that on those on the other side. We're talking about the immediate family as well. Your family. As well as the other side, you know. Yeah, so the impact is great. It's far reaching. Yeah.
It's far reaching. You know, but you know, it all goes back to the current state of affairs, bro. You know, I want, I'm biased. I'm going to get that straight up. I'm biased.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
Because this is where I come from. This is what I know.
Right.
I would like to see you do better.
Right.
I would like to see you do better.
Right. Okay, pull back up on me, bro. Come on, pull back up on. Hold that thought. Come on back. Come on back. Go ahead.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, but when I talk about that, let me like be clear about something. You know, you cannot have peace with somebody that don't want peace with you.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
You can't force feed something to somebody that they don't have an appetite for at the same time. You know, and I say that to say I understand about the little ceasefire, little activities going on out there and all that, and that's fine. It is. Because like I said, I got grandkids out there in the world. I don't want them to get caught up in something. They don't gang bang. You know? Right. Everybody got family that's civilian.
That's right.
You know? But you can't have peace with somebody that don't want peace with you. And sometimes you got to go through some stuff. You know what I mean? And that's giving and receiving. Right. When you get a mutual understanding on some respect stuff. You know, I know where I come from. You know what I mean? I know the mentality. I know them dudes ain't soft. They far from it. They gonna give as good as they receive. But you know what I mean? I don't want to promote that. Man. Right. This is a different time.
Right.
It's a different place. It's a different headspace. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, most of our homies, all our homies almost. You know, you got some stuck back in time, but they all got jobs. You know, they taking care of families.
Yeah. Finally living. Actually, some are living their best lives now for the first time in their lives.
Some living their best lives. Yeah. In their lives.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm an attestament to that. I will attest to that. Shit.
Oh yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
Yeah.
You know. But at the same time, bro, we got this generation out here right now. They out there, they in the trenches.
Yeah.
I respect the foot soldier. I respect the foot soldiers that do it right. You know, you got some people out there that can be, you know, examples. They got teachers. You got teachers out there in the community. And I'm talking about homies through experience who done this. You know? And, you know, I already know it was the same when we was kids. You know, we looked at older people like, yeah, you can't tell me.
Right.
Help reunite a devoted parent with their family after 16 years. Joseph, a devoted parent and community supporter, fights for justice. Their life was shattered by wrongful imprisonment, tearing them away from loved ones. For 16 long years, this individual has battled to reclaim both freedom and family. You can play a crucial role in helping them reclaim their life and reunite with their family today. Every donation brings hope and justice closer to reality for this family. Stand with Joseph, donate now.
Trade folks, 7-Eleven, the Deuce and the Nine. You have been, you will be under the bridge.
But we ain't gang banging, this is about education. We trying to educate our youth right now.
Hey, said day is the best day. Skip walking across the floor in the best way. From Trey to the one way. It's a stump day. LA to the NY. Let this funk play.
Back in them days, it was love, loyalty, respect, and honesty.
That's my nigga Gumby right
Nowadays,
there from the
you know, ex-busters, hooks, and snitches put on pedestals and ventilators.
Say lows on that Hoover shit. HIP, Tony Moon, one of the hardest poets I ever heard connected with this star shit. Hey, baby Jap and Jap 5, quick to set it off on the mic in the shack live.
When the shit get real and feel to the wheel, and then you will see sitting up in that motherfucker, looking at that light center, that death center.
Then they run into the witness stand, killing on their own homeboys.
Hoover stomp, all night like this. Hoover stomp.
I know trouble, I know how to start them big ass motherfuckers. Looking for me,
I'm a New York nigga in the Pacific Sun. I say West Side Hoover if you ask where I'm from. Province California runs, still infusing my lungs. All about my bread, I ain't leaving.
Understand the end game. What's your end game? What's your purpose?
Keep one in the head or I don't need a gun. I'm with Hawk on Hoover Street with a low rider jump. Hopping down Figueroa with a whole selling cunt.
You have been.
Like this, come second to none. Grooving like Scone Young, grooving like Booker Bone. I'm bad to the bone.